Hi, welcome back to M is for Meeple. My name's Mitch.
And I'm Morgan, and in today's video, we're going to talk about 10 spooky themed games we want to try or buy. Okay, so it is the start of spooky season, which means that this month is going to be all about spooky themed games. And we wanted to just share some of the games that we don't own, haven't played yet, but we would like to try.
Typically games that have been suggested to us or recommended one way or another.
Or seen on other, content creators' channels before. We've seen talked about elsewhere. Ones that for one reason or another we haven't picked up yet, but ones that are kind of on our list of like, oh yeah, I'd like to play that game.
There's one of them I would like to try before I buy, just because I've heard mixed things about it. But yeah,
I want to buy all of these games, but I'm fine if someone has a copy, we try it first. That's fine too. But we're typically the people in our group that just owns all the games. So I feel like the only way we will try these is if we buy them, unless we can convince one of our friends to buy. That's not gonna happen.
Our friends are poor. They ain't buying the games.
All right, so the first one that I personally want to try is Castle Party. And Castle Party is a flip and write game about arranging attendees for the Pumpkin King's party. So I think you have like vampires and witches, and you're trying to like group them all together in order to score points, but it's kind of like a puzzle because like certain groups can't be next to other people,
right.
And I really like types of puzzles that.
I think it's got variable play too, to where it's like cards will get flipped out to where it's like, oh, in this game witches don't want to be next to Frankensteins, and then like in the next game it might be like witches might not want to be next to like ghouls or ghosts or something.
Yeah, so I kind of like those like logic puzzles where it's you're trying to like make everybody happy, and there's like one answer, but you're trying to like kind of work through it. And I really like flip and write games, so that is one that I really want to try. We've never seen it for sale anywhere near us, and we just haven't picked it up. But I would really like to try Castle Party because that looks really fun. I feel like it's a game you can like an easy spooky game you could teach people. So that's my pick is a Castle Party.
Okay. All right, so the first one that I want to try and buy, both, is Cthulhu Death May Die. Now, I'm not a big fan of the Lovecraftian horror like theme or genre.
Yeah.
I mean, we've played Unfathomable, which fits into that universe, but in Cthulhu Death May Die, it kind of breaks like one of the major like lore a part of it, to where Cthulhu's like an unkillable creature, and the whole goal of the game is that you are investigators in this cooperative game trying to kill Cthulhu. Like you're going to punch him in the face or shoot him with a shotgun and kill him. Meanwhile, you're fighting insanity, chucking dice to get certain it's got like cards that have events to where it's like stat checks or something like that, or like strength checks to where you're like rolling, I'm pretty sure, try and beat those. And I think it's almost like episodic too, to where it's like there's different packs of episodes that you go through.
Oh, that's cool.
It's like, I'm pretty sure I could be mistaken, but I do know that there's an expansion for it called the second season or season 2 of Cthulhu Death May Die, which makes me believe that it's got that like episode pack to where it's several boxes in there. I don't know. It looks cool. Freaking Cthulhu Death May Die will probably be like the only Lovecraftian horror that I would actually get into.
I'm not a big fan of the Lovecraftian horror as a theme either. It's one I know a lot of people like that game, and it's one I would definitely like. I would happily play it, but I think maybe that's one of the reasons we just haven't like purchased it yet, is because we both aren't really a fan of like the Lovecraftian theme.
Because it's an expensive game for you not to be too big on the theme.
Yeah, that's one I think I would definitely want to play first before we bought it. Like, like at a convention or something to play that. Maybe have somebody
I think it's a pretty long game. I don't know if I would want to play a long game at a convention.
Or play it with somebody who already has it.
Yeah.
So they could teach it to us. And then if we liked it, then we would probably get it for ourselves. But I think it's just one we're kind of like hesitant on. Like we really want to try it, but we're just nervous that like because we're not totally sold on the theme.
I just like that you could kill Cthulhu. That's what sells me on the theme.
Yeah.
Is that it breaks that lore. But yeah, that was my first one. Cthulhu Death May Die. What's your next one?
My next one is Whirling Witchcraft, which is one that I've seen a bunch. I know Jamie from Foster the Meeple really enjoys that game, and Michelle and Billy over from Second Star to the Left have talked about this game also. So from what I understand about it is you play witches, and you're brewing potions, trying to get your opponent's cauldron to like overflow. And everyone has these really cool
the cauldrons look awesome.
like 3D cauldrons that they're using. So it just seems very, very, very thematic for this time of year. And I think it would be just a really fun one to play in October.
Now the base game, the cauldrons they're like a cardboard like thing that you assemble, right?
I think so.
Is there like on Etsy or on Miniature Market that has like a nice cauldron?
I'm not sure, but I'm
like
sure
3D
there
printed?
probably is. I haven't looked into it.
That'd be nice.
I'm sure you can probably find something though. But yeah, that's one that I would really like to try. It's by AEG too, and when we're a pretty big fan of AEG games, so I think it's one that we would enjoy. I don't think it's terribly expensive. We just really haven't seen it for sale anywhere. I think that's part of the reason why we haven't picked it up.
I saw it for sale right before our local game store started like moving stuff around to get ready for their remodel.
See, I haven't seen it there in a really long time. I think it's one we'll probably have to buy online somewhere. But yeah, I would really like to. I don't think that one's terribly expensive, so that one would probably be one we could probably just buy because it's AEG, so I feel like we'll probably like it.
I haven't found a bad AEG game yet.
Yeah, but Whirling Witchcraft is definitely one I want to play, so it's on our list.
Next on my list is Dead of Winter, and this is one that I've gone back and forth with a couple times because it's like I looked it up, talked to some people about it, and they're just like, yeah, it's kind of game breaking in this fashion, to where it's like the traders can get like a head start or something like that. Because in Dead of Winter, you were trapped on like a mountainside or some sort of town in the middle of winter while zombies are attacking. So it's a semi-cooperative game where you don't know who amongst you is got a traitorous objective and who's got an actual objective to help further the agenda of the team. So you're slowly trying to piece it together, like, oh, why did this guy go to the police station and get all the guns and now we don't have any guns? Is he going to bring them back? Was that his traitorous objective? Or is he like running away and he's hiding those guns, or he's going to ditch them so that way we're kind of screwed and not going to be able to fight off these zombies?
So this is the one that's like similar to the game we play online called Project Winter?
Similar to
where it has kind of that like you don't know who's the like traitor and you're like, whoa, why are you doing that?
I believe for the player interaction in this, like there's not, I don't remember if there's like a direct like, yeah, you can shoot another player, or if it's just like you vote that you exile them and then they go and get like a different objective once they redeem themselves. So I'm not quite sure how much player interaction there is to that, but Dead of Winter is one I've always wanted to check out. I like zombies. I like the theme of being trapped in the snow while you're trying to fight them.
I feel like we really enjoy those like hidden traitor games. So I think that's one we would definitely like. A lot of people have recommended it to us. And Recess has that one, don't they?
Yeah, no, they've had it for a while. I just haven't picked it up because there's so many other games that we'll probably get to first.
Yeah.
But now that it's spooky season,
we might have to grab that. Alrighty, the next one on my list is Septima, which is a game that was recently on Kickstarter. And basically is you play a witch, you're like trying to build like a witch coven. You can like enthrall the townsfolk or gather ingredients in order to cure diseases in the village. And you're trying to like gain like enough prestige in order to become the next Septima, which is like the head witch of the coven. But it seems really cool. It has like these really nice components. I believe each witch can also like shapeshift into like an animal form too,
Ooh, that's
which is
cool.
really cool.
I haven't heard anything about this game.
Yeah, I backed it at like the dollar level, and I was like on the fence about if I was gonna fill out that late
Is
pledge.
it on Kickstarter right now?
No,
Oh, okay,
but
so it's already funded.
it's already
Okay.
funded, so it's definitely coming. But I backed it at the dollar level because I wasn't sure how much we would play it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I finally decided that I was gonna get
You
it
went all-
because
yeah.
the components are really nice. And I really wanted that copy of to get the Kickstarter version with the deluxe wooden components.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, the board just looks really nice. It's like purpley and like I really enjoy the colors. So I think it would be a fun one to play around this time of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but that is Septima. I'm not sure if they have late pledges open. They might have late pledges open. If they do, we'll link it in the description below. But it was funded, so it will be coming to retail as well.
Nice. Nice. Well, you talked about a Kickstarter, so I'm going to talk about one of my Kickstarters.
Okay.
And that is the Dead by Daylight board game.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this one's already over, fully funded. I think they funded like $1 million on their Kickstarter,
Yeah.
something crazy. But this is based on the video game Dead by Daylight. If you haven't played it, in the game and in the board game, one person plays as the killer and 4 other players play as survivors, trying to repair generators to power the exit gates from the map and escape. Meanwhile, the killer is smacking people, hanging them on like these big meat hooks all around the map, and trying to kill them. He doesn't kill them outright. I think it's after your 3rd hook is when you die in the video game, or on your 3rd hook is when you die. But there's all sorts, in the video game, there's all sorts of like asynchronous abilities for the killers because they have like over 20 or 30 killers now. It's something crazy that all have different powers and abilities on the map to where it's like they can sense you through a wall or they can hear your heartbeat. So I don't know how that's going to transition into the board game, but I'm excited for it. I only did the dollar pledge on it.
Did you?
Yeah, I'm just waiting for the pledge manager, so I hope I didn't miss it.
I know one of the reasons we like didn't like fully back it, and the reason we only backed it at the dollar pledge was like the board wasn't like the artwork on the board was very like generic.
For the Kickstarter, it just kind of looked plain, but
it was just kind of like a grid.
That's kind of, the colors are very mute in the video game.
Yeah,
because it's kind of dark and eerie. But yeah,
but a lot of the places you can play in the video game are like a forest, and there's like a warehouse or like a barn where you can go.
But it's dark.
It is dark, but like the player board itself was just kind of like a gray grid, and there was just like X's and like it wasn't very like there was like no illustration. There wasn't like I don't know.
Maybe they'll with $4 million. Maybe they'll.
Yeah, I mean that's true. Most Kickstarters are subject
I didn't
to
follow
change.
its stretch goals or anything like that, so I don't know what else they got. I just know
initially when we looked at it, we're like, oh, that doesn't look as good as we were hoping.
I know the minis. I think they reached one of the goals to where it's like the minis themselves will actually be able to hang on the hooks.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, we have a friend that loves Dead by Daylight, so I think we would, if we get that game, we would definitely be able to play that with him for sure.
He wouldn't be allowed to play the killer if any video game skills transfer over to the board game skills. He'd just have a way too fair advantage with how much he plays that. All right, on to you.
On to me. All right, so my next game that I would like to try is the game called Broom Service, which is an older game, but I still hear fairly, like a good amount of people talk about it.
Yeah. Billy and Michelle just talked about it.
Yeah, Billy and Michelle from Second Side to the Left just talked about it, and I've heard it on a few other content creators' channels over the last year or so. Talk about like this game being really good. It's a pick up and deliver game.
Ooh.
And basically you're witches on brooms trying to deliver items. And the reason I want to try it is it kind of reminds me of the anime film Kiki's Delivery Service, where she's a witch and she's delivering goods. And I get the feel from the box, and I really enjoyed that movie.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the reason that I want to try it. But again, it's an older game, so we obviously
a bit harder to find.
Yeah, a bit harder to find, at least like in store. I'm not sure how available it is online, but it's definitely one I'm gonna look for sure. Because I would really like to play that game. And I like pick up and deliver games, so I think that would be a good seasonal witchy game to add to the collection for sure.
All right, next one that I want to try is Mansions of Madness. And this is like an Arkham horror, Eldritch horror type game, also similar to Cthulhu Death May Die. But it's 1 to 5 players. That it's also got the skill checks that you're doing and like rolling dice. Cooperative. Yeah. It's got a secret trader mechanic in it. I don't know how
Does
that
it really?
works. Yeah.
Oh, man.
I saw it when I was looking at the BGG page that it's got a trader game. It's got all sorts of different scenarios. It's app-driven. App-driven games are fantastic, especially for this time because the music's awesome. And if you're just hearing like that creaking door, like
yeah, it really like sets the mood.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So any game that has that, I'm definitely going to check out. And Mansions of Madness has been talked up by everyone about being a fantastic spooky game. It's always on like the top shelf at our game store. Like not like super high up to where you can't reach it, but right at eye level, so you know like they're trying to push it on you.
I really like how like I was a big fan of like Clue growing up, and I really liked like the Clue board, how you had like all the different rooms that you can go in, and like the board in Mansion of Madness is like set up like that too, where you have like all the different rooms that you can explore. And I think that just looks really cool because they have minis, and it really like sets the like tone, like the theme, you know. And hearing that music, it just really brings everything to life.
So I believe the big difference between Cthulhu Death May Die and Mansions of Madness is like in Cthulhu Death May Die, you're very aggressive, you have weapons, you're gearing up, you're going to kill stuff. Mansions of Madness, you're just trying to survive without going crazy.
Well, it's more
like you're more of a victim in this one.
Well, isn't there like aren't you like detectives kind of?
You're investigators in Cthulhu Death May Die. In this one,
because I thought you don't have to fight in Mansions of Madness. Like you can like solve, like look for clues and solve puzzles.
I think that's the better route to go. In Mansions of Madness.
Because I think I would enjoy the like looking for clues aspect. I love mystery. I was like obsessed with Nancy Drew when I was little, so I think I would really enjoy that aspect of it. But I generally don't like horror, so I'm a little nervous about the app. Like if it has a lot of like jumping.
We'll be with friends around a table.
Yeah, I know.
It'll be all right.
But yeah, that's one we want to try for sure. All right, my next game is Campy Creatures. This is one I feel like I've almost bought a few times, mostly because it's by Keymaster Games, who makes Parks, and Parks is one of my favorite games. So. And it kind of has like the same style as like Parks, like the artwork seems very similar. But Campy Creatures is a bluffing deduction set collecting game, which I like all of those things. So it just seems like a really cute, not cute, but like a really like a spooky card game. You're playing down like different like monster cards in order to get like
the swamp creature or werewolf.
Yeah, I think it would just be like a fun little Halloween themed like filler game to play, like maybe in between some of these heavier games. Yeah, and I think it would be a fun one. I really enjoy the artwork on the cards.
Yeah, they do that like flat color tones to where it's like it's got a decent level of detail, but it's like there's not like blending between the colors to where like there's fine lines.
I really enjoy that like art style. So that's one that I definitely would like to pick up because it's kind of like a lighter, spooky game that I think would be good to have. So yeah, that is Campy Creatures.
Okay. My last game that I'm going to talk about is Evil Dead 2, the board game. I don't really know a whole lot about it. I just love that movie. It's fantastic. It's one of my favorite movies.
You love all of the Evil Dead movies.
Yeah.
Army of Darkness.
I got to meet Bruce Campbell a few years ago and have him sign my Army of Darkness figure, and that was awesome. You are in the cabin in Evil Dead trying to fight off the Deadites and retrieve the pages of the Necronomicon to close the portal. Typical movie fashion, exactly what they're trying to do in the movie. And even if it plays worse than Zombicide, or if it plays like another zombie game we have, it's one that I really want to own. And even if we only play it one time, like the box itself is kind of like a good spooky decoration because it looks like the Necronomicon, the Book of the Damned.
The box is really cool.
To where it's got like the human flesh. Like I know it's just the art, but it's like the human flesh skin and like the crazy face.
Yeah, I feel like even if it's a terrible game, I feel like we need to just have it in our collection because of how much you love those movies. And I feel like just
awesome.
seeing it on the shelf would make you happy.
It would be nice.
And it has minis.
It does have minis,
Which
and
I
they
think
would be fun to paint.
Yeah.
Yeah, the different zombies or like the tree minis that they have when they try to escape the woods.
And I feel like a lot of time with like board games that are based on IP, if you are super into the IP, it almost doesn't matter how great the board game is, just because you're happy.
Happy to like participate in that
world. Exactly. Yeah. So that's definitely one we probably are going to add to our collection, even if it's not.
Even if it sucks, we're keeping it. That's what we're saying. Even if it's a bad game.
I haven't seen it anywhere, but I've seen it online because I've almost bought it for you a few times, and then I looked at the reviews and I was like, I don't know. But then when I mentioned it to you, you're like, oh, I want that.
Yeah,
like, okay.
I do. I didn't know it was a thing until you told me about it.
Yeah.
All right.
So those are the 10 spooky themed games that we want to try or buy.
Or bry.
Or pry, if you combine them. Both, technically. That we are looking at potentially adding to our collection. Let us know down in the comments below if you've played any of these games, which ones we should definitely buy or we need to play ASAP. I know we've definitely been recommended these games a few times, and we've heard really good things about most of them.
I think we'll more than likely get all but one or two of these this year.
Yeah, probably.
Like, there's just a couple of them that I bet are just a little difficult to find.
They're all games like that are just perfect to play this time of year. That would just be awesome.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, let us know which ones on this list that you've either played, or if you haven't played, which ones from the list you would also like to try.
So if you liked what you saw, you liked any of the games that we want to try or buy, if you like what we're doing over here at M is for Meeple, make sure to hit that like button, hit the bell to get notified of the videos, which we release every Sunday, and subscribe because it really helps out the channel. But my name's Mitch.
And I'm Morgan. Thank you so much for watching.
Bye. Just jump right into it. 5, 4, 3, 2. Hello, welcome back to M is for Meeple. My name's Mitch.
And I'm Morgan, and in today's video, we're going to talk about some...
Oh yeah, AEG makes everything good. They make everything good?
They make good games.
They make good games. Other other publishers also make good games.
Yeah.
But I know you whooped me in wormholes.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not even close. All right, but... That's how it kind of went in Evil Dead 2 when he went to grab the book and he didn't remember the words.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, he was just like Nosferatu, necktie. Now that I've said the words, I'm gonna grab the book.
Is that when he works at Safemart?
S-Mart.
S-Mart.
Shop smart.
S-Mart.
Shop S-Mart.
And I'm Morgan. Oh, I say thank you for watching.
Yes.
Okay, so I was like, why am I pausing? You're supposed to say stuff.
I think you can just say, I'm Morgan. Thank you so much for watching.
Yeah, I know I forgot the thing.
No, I think you can just pick up from there because I don't think I could redo everything I just did as well as I did.
Okay. Do you think that was 10 minutes? I don't think.
No.